And these are tonight's top stories. Greece removes St. Kitts and Nevis from list of UN uncooperative states. Federation meets quota commitments to international organizations, and government anniversary activities move to Nevis. The details to these and more coming up right after the break. Good evening. Welcome to this evening's edition of the news with your presenter, Veer Galloway. The Embassy of the Hellenic Republic, Greece, has informed the government of St. Kitts and Nevis that the Federation has been removed from its national list of non-cooperative states, as there is no institutional framework and administrative assistance between the two countries. In 2015, the European Commission published a press release with a list of international tax havens and its action plan for fair and efficient corporate taxation in the European Union. St. Kitts and Nevis was included on the national list of 10 countries as being non-cooperative. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Mark Brantley, availed himself of opportunities during conferences overseas to engage the representatives of the respective countries, requesting the criteria for including St. Kitts and Nevis on the list and our removal. The ministry deems the recent decision by Greece to remove St. Kitts and Nevis from its list as a success of these combined efforts. Of the initial 10 countries, St. Kitts and Nevis has now been removed from the list of Estonia, Italy, and Greece. St. Kitts and Nevis has met all of its quota commitments to the OECS, CARICOM, the United Nations, the Organization of American States, the Commonwealth, and the ACP. During the most recent town hall meeting held by the government, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, the Honorable Mark Brantley, said he is very proud of this fact. He explained what this means for the Federation.
When you're a member of these international organizations, you have certain assessments, you have certain dues. You know, when you're a member of PLP, the Prime Minister says you have to pay dues. CCM, we don't pay. But PLP, I hear they have to pay. Now, you have to pay when you're a member of these organizations. And many countries, including, sadly, some of us in the Caribbean, are not paying. And as a result of that, they put them on a list of countries that, if you will, are not regarded in the same way. St. Kitts and Nevis, the smallest country in the region, is up to date and current with all of its obligations.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Aviation, the Honorable Mark Brantley. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris has announced that Nevis will play a significant part in the week of activities to mark the government's second year in office. On Monday, February 13, the Federal Cabinet will, for the first time, meet in Nevis. Later that evening, a town hall public forum will be held in Charlestown at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall starting 7 in the evening. The town hall will be the fourth in the series of town hall events dubbed Good Governance and Accountability for Prosperity. And coming up after the break, Police High Command welcomes the symposium as a partnership effort in approach to address crime. And Mundu designed athletic track project said to be the largest ever investment in Nevis sports. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Welcome back. In reflecting on the National Crime Symposium held on Thursday, Deputy Commissioner of Police Hilwy Brandy said he was heartened by the turnout and the participation of stakeholders at the event. Deputy Brandy said the stakeholder attendance and participation was encouraging. The deputy added, improving our community engagement and involvement is one of the priorities for 2017. We want to be more engaged in the communities we serve, so this event has provided us an opportunity to meet more persons who are active in their communities, and in due time we'll reach out and partner with them in their efforts and ours in building stronger communities in St. Kitts and Nevis. Deputy Brandy said the symposium was a well-developed initiative and he looks forward to the outputs. The Honorable Matt Brantley, Senior Minister for Sports and Minister with responsibility for tourism in the Nevis Island administration, says an athletic track designed by Mundo experts, which is under construction at Long Point, is an important project for the government. The minister, who is also Deputy Premier of Nevis, made the comment when he spoke to the Department of Information February 8, moments after concluding a tour of the construction site with cabinet colleagues and senior officials in the NIA. Minister Brantley also noted that when completed, the facility will add another dimension to the island's tourism product. He said it would provide an opportunity for tourism officials to market the island as a destination which also offers sports tourism. The facility, which will be outfitted with a Mundo track, will also have a FIFA-certified football field in the middle for the football lovers. Mundo is a well-known European-based company which is the official surface and equipment provider for the WIAF. The minister noted that based on his understanding, Nevis will become the third in the world to use the Mundo high-tech track and the first in the Caribbean at this point to do so. The project began in mid-December 2016 and the planned completion date is in March of 2017 in readiness for the annual Inter-Primary School Athletic Meet in April. The second phase of the project will be the construction of the stadium. As part of its 50th anniversary celebrations, the organizing committee for the Charles E. Mills Secondary Anniversary Celebration is gearing up to host its 4th Health and Wellness Drive next week. ZIZ spoke with the project coordinator Dorothy Markman-Keynes, who explained what inspired the initiative.
This came about as I'm a community development officer and I've worked within the communities, and I've realized that some of our residents are now, having health issues, and one of the things that we want to promote is to eliminate or stop the surge of health problems, health issues, by having natural activities, natural foods, natural things that you can do within your home.
Keynes outlined some of the activities that persons can expect from the event.
We'll be doing Zumba, that should be fun, standing aerobics, yoga, some segments of yoga, and we would also have nutrition and health sound bites. These would be done by persons who have passed through the school. So we would have persons like Dr. Naja Wilson, Latoya Duncan, Mrs. Latoya Duncan, Dr. Joylette Woodley, and a number of others would be there.
She then used the opportunity to invite all persons and encourage members of the Sandy Point and neighboring communities to lend their support.
We're inviting all residents from the Sandy Point area as well as the surrounding communities, the supporting schools, members that went to the school, the Sandy Point High School, Charles E. Mills Secondary School. We're asking you to attend. It's going to be at 6 in the morning to 8 in the morning, 6 to 8 a.m. And we're providing transportation for you to get there.
Keynes encouraged persons to register, adding that the event is free. However, breakfast will be available for purchase. The 4th Health and Wellness Drive will be held at the Old Recreation Ground in Sandy Point on Saturday, February 18. American gospel singer and songwriter Jonathan Nelson arrived at the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport on Saturday evening. The gospel artist is scheduled to perform at the Team Unity Administration's Gospel Extravaganza that commemorates its 2nd year anniversary in office. Backed by his vocal ensemble Purpose, Nelson released his major label debut, Right Now Praise, in 2008, followed by Better Days in 2010. Nelson then released the #1 gospel album, Finish Strong, in 2013. His most recent album, Fearless, debuted in 2016 with songs such as My Hope, Name of the Lord, You Are Good, Rehoboth, Amazing Love, Everything You Are, I Give You Glory, Brand New, and Forever Settled. He is also well known for the hit song I Believe, also known as So Long Bye Bye. This is Nelson's first ever visit to the island. The Gospel Extravaganza will also feature several local entertainers, including Radical Praise, African Worship Team, Ali D, and Arby Liddy. The Team Unity Administration's Gospel Extravaganza will be held at the Greenlands Park and is scheduled to begin at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday, February 12. Coming up, Fidel Castro's tomb becomes a place of pilgrimage. Stay tuned.
It's the ZIZ mobile app, the newest way to get the latest on what's happening locally, regionally, and internationally. Say goodbye to newspaper clutter and hello to updated classifieds on our radio market. Whether you're streaming your favorite local TV or radio shows or catching up on memorable moments in sports and entertainment, the ZIZ mobile app offers this and so much more. Always on the go? Get the ZIZ mobile app today. Visit the App Store on your smartphone or tablet and search for ZIZ News to download the app free of cost. ZIZ Online, reaching you wherever you are.
Welcome back to the news. Tens of thousands of people have been flocking to the tomb of former leader of Cuba, Fidel Castro, who died in November, aged 90. Castro's tomb has become a place of pilgrimage. More in this report.
Its location was one of the most tightly kept secrets. Now it's become one of the most important and visited sites in Cuba. Thousands of people have been flocking to the tomb of Fidel Castro. This simple stone lies in the Santa Ifigenia Cemetery in Santiago, the birthplace of Castro's revolution.
When you come to visit his tomb, you're going to see that he did not build a big monument. It's a stone, a small stone, which is significant to the way that he saw his revolution. He's a very humble person, and it's very nice to see this.
President Raul Castro has barred the naming of streets and monuments after his late brother, in keeping with the former leader's desire to avoid a cult of personality.
Coming up, Baghdad anti-corruption protest ends in deadly violence. We'll have the details when we come back. Welcome back as we look at news further afield. A huge anti-corruption protest in Baghdad turned violent and ended in deadly violence on Saturday.
A huge protest against corruption in Iraq has turned violent. Demonstrators tried to force their way into Baghdad's heavily fortified green zone, which houses government offices and embassies, as well as tear gas. Rubber bullets were reportedly fired by security forces in clashes that left several people injured and at least one police officer dead. We demand a change of government. We want patriotic people to replace them and start rebuilding Iraq. The elections were manipulated and a sham. Every 4 years we have the same people. We want honest people. The protesters, mainly supporters of prominent Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr, want electoral reforms ahead of a provincial vote in September. Rampant corruption comes as Iraq battles to defeat ISIL in a US-backed campaign discussed in Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi's first phone call with President Trump. Baghdad said Abadi also asked Trump to lift the ban on people from Iraq traveling to the US, although American courts have now suspended those restrictions.
Up next in sports, new AstroTurf for Trinidad hockey fraternity to host World Leagues and 6 Patriots players not attending the White House visit. Stay tuned for sports. Welcome back to the news as we move now to sports, and there is some good news for the Trinidad and Tobago Hockey Board from the Minister of Sport, Darrell Smith, ahead of its hosting of the International Hockey Federation's Round 2 of its World Games from late March to early April.
8 teams inclusive of Malaysia, Japan, Russia, the United States, Barbados, Chile, Switzerland, and host Trinidad and Tobago will take part vying for place in the semi-final round of the World Games. And with international competition coming to our shores, Minister Smith announced that they will have a new surface at the hockey centre to play on.
They've been requesting that the hockey turf be changed for several years now. It's 11 years plus. And it was granted permission today from the cabinet to start work on that hockey surface, to get a new surface, and to do some other work with the lighting to make it up to international standards.
Minister Smith says they intended to maintain the new turf in the proper manner, and for this they have acquired the right equipment.
For the first time, which should have been done the first time, we'll be bringing in a special machine that cleans and maintains the turf, which caused the current turf that we have now with the power washing and so on to have a lot of issues. So I know that's very good news for the hockey fraternity.
While adding the remnants of the soon-to-be old turf would not be discarded, but put to good use.
But more importantly, there's still some life. And as you know, when you're in some fiscal strain times, you tend to count all the pennies. We were able to work with them and the manufacturers and with the Petrotrain Sports Club to actually relocate the current turf, which has 2 or 3 more years in it, to be utilized at Petrotrain. So we're going to have 2 AstroTurf fields now for hockey, where we utilize the old one for another 3 years until we could replace that one as well.
Kent Fuentes, C Sports.
At least 6 members of the Super Bowl winning New England Patriots have said they will not visit the White House for the traditional meeting that championship teams have with the president.
Since the New England Patriots won their 5th Super Bowl on Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons, at least 6 players have said they will not attend the annual White House visit for a champion pro sports team. After tight end Martellus Bennett was the first player to say he wouldn't go, he was soon joined by defensive back Devin McCourty and then running back LeGarrette Blount, who said this week, "I don't feel welcome in that house." Meanwhile, Donta Hightower, Chris Long, and Alan Branch have all also now said they would turn down a request to come to the White House.
From endorsement deals to the philanthropic work through his own foundation, Andy Roddick, the wonder kid who at 21 won his first Grand Slam title at the 2003 US Open, has kept busy since he retired from professional tennis in 2012. Now Roddick, a dog lover who lives in Austin with his wife and dogs, is currently partnering with Purina Pro Plan for the company's $1 million Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show Bracket Challenge. Here is more.
Former tennis star turned philanthropist Andy Roddick has turned his attention to his love of dogs since he left the game in 2012. According to CBS News, Roddick is currently partnering with Purina Pro Plan for the company's $1 million Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show Bracket Challenge. The event is being compared to college basketball's March Madness brackets, but with dogs and the chance to win $1 million. Roddick talked about his own choice in the bracket, saying, "We had a mini poodle growing up, so that was part of my reason behind choosing that dog."
And when we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines. And now to recap the top stories, Greece removes St. Kitts and Nevis from the list of UN uncooperative states. Federation meets quota commitments to international organizations, and government anniversary activities move to Nevis. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for watching. I am Veer Galloway.